Welcome inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ, along with my man, Brad Gilmore. And I told you guys we had a very, very special guest stepping inside the Hall of Fame. He will be one day truly inside the Hall of Fame. But welcome inside, guys. Ray Flores, he is an announcer for PBC as well as many other companies. I see you all over the place, as well as a commentator as well. But again, man, thank you. And we appreciate you stepping inside the Hall of Fame. How you doing, man? How you holding up?
I'm safe and sound, Booker T. Brad, it's a pleasure to join you guys. And you know what? I'm very excited about Saturday night. You're very kind with your complimentary words, Booker T. But hopefully one day down the line that'll happen.
You know, of course, we got this, man, this super fight coming down this weekend live on Showtime pay-per-view. Leo Santa Cruz versus Gervonta Tank Davis, as well as Regis Prograis versus Juan Heraldez. And my thing is this, man, myself, working for ESPN along with Brad, we get a chance to go to the fights now. We get a chance to be the fly on the wall, man. And every day, man, I pinch myself and say, man, how did I get here? How do you feel, man, being among the elite in the sport of pugilism?
It's the greatest job in the world, without a doubt. I love it. It is a passion of mine to be able to watch and call these amazing fights and witness what these prize fighters put themselves through on a daily basis. It is an honor and a pleasure. For me, the focus is to make sure that we tell their story correctly. So I am constantly prepping. I'm talking to the fighters, the trainers, the cut men, to make sure that their story is told correctly. It's one thing, Booker T, to tell a punch, or call a move, but it's another thing to get down into the emotional side of what these guys go through, because that is what truly the battle is. Physically, it's one thing, but it's the emotional battle. It's the hard work, the sacrifices, the blood, sweat, and tears that these guys go through before they even get to the ring. That is truly the battle.
You know, one thing I think about when I think about yourself, as well as many, many others, no matter whether it's boxers, no matter whether it's, baseball players, basketball players, MMA fighters, style is very, very important for the one that lasts, that weather the storm, And I grew up on the Al Bernsteins of the world, Top Rank Boxing, Tuesday night fights, guys like Bobby Chaz, he was one of my favorite, being a boxer coming into the commentary world. And I was like, man, he was in the Alberts, man. Of course, those guys always knew how to make you feel like you were a part of the atmosphere, a part of the game. Where do you get your commentary style from?
So I look at it as I know who I am as a person. So when I looked up to guys. I'm glad you brought up, the Alberts. I grew up watching guys like Steve Albert on Showtime pay-per-view. It used to be SET pay-per-view, for remember, Booker. And then watching, to me, the greatest play-by-play man in boxing history is Jim Lampley. So I had an opportunity to work with him in April of 2015 as a ring announcer. For Jim Lampley to throw it up to me meant the world to me, because it's someone who I looked up to, who is a legend. And what I love about Lampley is he brought out the human aspect of the fighters. So that is up to me. Is I like going old school on things. So the old school masters like Steve Alberts and the Jim Lampleys of the world, they set the bar so high. So it's up to us as the younger generation to take forth that tradition in which they set forth and extend it and further the legacy and the history of the sport. But we need to focus and have the demeanor to do that, which is exactly what I try to do every single time out on the broadcasting.
I know you, dabbled in the MMA side of it as well, but, what do you think about the resurgence of the boxing game, man? Because right now, man, it seemed like it's open in the, just like we're going to have this fight this weekend, Leo Santa Cruz versus Gervonta Tank Davis, the best fighters fighting the best fighters. It haven't been this way ever, I don't think, in the history of boxing, where the best fighters truly fight the best fighters. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
I think it goes back to where, first and foremost, back in the day, boxing was on HBO and Showtime, premium cable networks. Now, since PBC debuted in March of 2015, they put it back on free TV. They had a deal on NBC, on Fox. Now we have the deal with Fox and FS1 and also Showtime as well. But boxing being back on free TV is the most important thing for the health of the sport, because the common fan that watches the NFL, and I love my Chicago Bears. I know you guys are down in Houston with the Texans, but that watches every sport on regular television. That's what boxing is now starting to do and get back to, since PBC was born under the guidance of Al Heyman in March of 2015. So that is so important. And we're starting to see the fact that the fans are demanding the best fighting the best. We're in a different group of crowd when it comes to fighters, Booker T and Brad, in the sense that the younger guys are saying, you know what? I want to fight the top guy. I'm the man. I'm the alpha male. And when I become the man, you better pay me like the man. So that is the demeanor of these guys.
I love it, Brad. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, though, because correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, weren't you on the promotional tour for Mayweather-McGregor?
Yeah, that was pretty wild, my friend. Oh, man, in July of 2017. Oh, my goodness.
So you were on that tour, and then there's been rumors as of late, because Booker and I talk a lot about MMA, and there's been rumors that Conor McGregor is going to make a return to fighting, but it might be in the boxing world against Manny Pacquiao. What do you know about the probability of that, and what would you think that would look like inside the squared circle? Would he have a better chance against older Manny, who's also a lefty, than he did against Floyd? I'm just curious your take.
I mean, when it comes to inside the ring, if it were to happen, I mean, look, Manny is 41 now, but Manny, look what he did to Keith Thurman last July, on July 20th. Yeah. I think you guys were both there. Can you imagine? He put Keith Thurman down in the first round with a vicious right hook. So Conor McGregor is a fantastic MMA fighter, and I give him credit for lasting as long as he did against Floyd Mayweather. But Manny Pacquiao is still Manny Pacquiao, 8-division world champion. And this guy, in my opinion, they're just levels to this business. Now, the promotional aspect, I'll tell you what, Brad, I know that Manny Pacquiao signed with Audiatar to a degree. I don't know what their relationship is, but he did sign an agreement to be represented with him at some form or another. And Conor McGregor happens to be a client of Audiatar. So that makes sense. I don't think that'll happen. I think more so we'll get Manny Pacquiao and Mikey Garcia whenever Pacquiao decides to return to the boxing ring, because as we all know, Manny Pacquiao has been quite successful against fighters of Mexican descent in the course of his career.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell Brad. I've been trying to talk him down, man, from even thinking about that fight even happening, but he just won't listen to me.
Well, but
so
see,
no. So I appreciate your expert tease on this matter right here. What you talking about?
You didn't think that Mayweather and McGregor would happen. I told you there's too much money on the table for them to pass it up.
I didn't think it was going to happen just due to the commission. I didn't think the commission would pass that fight, which the commission should not have passed that fight, in my opinion. But that's another story. Let's wind our way back to what's going down this Saturday Night Live on Showtime pay-per-view. Big fight. And let's talk about the co-main event more than anything. And I want to get your take on Regis Prograis versus Juan Heraldez. Regis Prograis, extraordinary fighter, exceptional in so many different ways. Coming off his first loss, huge loss to Josh Taylor. No one thought that was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. What do you think Regis is going to look like coming back against, there again, an undefeated fighter?
Well, I think Booker T, Regis Prograis is going to look exceptional. This guy, I've watched him from the days of, we were outside of Montana somewhere in the Dakotas, some of that area, right outside of Mount Rushmore, a couple of years ago when he fought on Showbox, and he went ahead and he handled business. And then to be able to watch his growth and development in the World Boxing Super Series, that fight against Josh Taylor was a very close loss. He was very close to potentially winning that fight. So Prograis proved that he could fight a hard 12 rounds, and even told me that he demonstrated to himself that he was capable of fighting at that frenetic pace. Against Juan Heraldez, Heraldez is coming off a draw last May against Argenis Mendez. Heraldez is undefeated. He's a Mayweather Promotions fighter. But to me, Regis Prograis has the power. He has the speed. He's 31 years of age. He's making his PBC debut. So for him, he wants to come out, and he's being introduced to a new audience. He's being introduced to a bigger audience. The moment to make that first impression is Saturday night, and I think Regis Prograis certainly does that in emphatic fashion from the Alamo Dome.
You know, I know normally the purest of commentators and announcers, they don't like to give their prediction on fights, but would you like to give a prediction?
You know what? Typically I don't, Booker T, but because it's you, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And, only to you, because I stay away from all predictions. To me, I know the reason why the odds makers have Prograde as the favorite. You got to give me the man known as Rougarou with some New Orleans spicy, hotness to him, now residing in Houston. I think he's going to have some hot and
Oh man, wait a minute. Oh, there you go. He got hot out there. You got going there, bro. No, man. But I feel the same way, man. I feel Rougarou is definitely going to get back on track. I thought the fight against Josh Taylor, he was a seek and destroy night, man. He seemed like he just wanted to go out there and get that win, go to the pay window, and go home like he had did so many times before. But Josh Taylor proved to be a adversary that was preparation. There again is the only luck you're ever going to have, especially when going inside the squared circle. Let's talk about Leo Santa Cruz, man. Leo Santa Cruz is a tough fighter. He throws a lot of punches throughout his fights. It's last loss Frampton, I think, but he did avenge that loss, taking on now Gervonta Tank Davis, which I think is the toughest fight of Leo's career, but as well as Gervonta Tank Davis's career as well is threatening on both sides. What do you think about the layout of that fight?
Well, Booker T, Leo Santa Cruz has an opportunity to make history because he can become a five division world champion, which is something that no Mexican fighter has been able to do over the course of his career. Plus the fact that Leo is the underdog heading into this fight. I was in the training camp last Monday and Tuesday with Leo Santa Cruz, and I watched him train, and I talked with his brothers who are training him along with his father. And I said, how is Leo looking? And I watched Leo hit the pads. It's the hardest he's ever hit. And also, it's the most focused he's ever been. And I'll tell you why. He fought Miguel Flores. He fought, a couple guys that weren't at his level. But when he's fought the Marazes of the world and Carl Frampton the second time, he gets up for those big moments. And Booker T, you more than anybody know that when you fight on pay-per-view, this is Leo's first time main eventing on pay-per-view alongside Gervonta Davis. Pay-per-view is a different world. You have to really bring your best because, people are paying to watch you. So you have got to come on and you got to bring it. It's not good enough to just bring it on network TV. This is a different level of bringing it, if you know what I'm saying. So Leo is going to be in tip-top shape. He's focused. He's determined. And he has a high-volume puncher. The thing with Gervonta Davis, he has that one-punch eraser, a 95% knockout percentage. 22 of his 23 wins have been by knockout. I'm not going to tell you any secrets here because Gervonta Davis is going to land clean in the early part of the fight against Leo Santa Cruz based on Santa Cruz's aggression. Can Leo take it? Santa Cruz told me in the second half of the fight, I'm going to take over. I'm going to dominate. Will he get to the second half of the fight is the operative question.
Man, and you know what? I'm not going to even ask you to give me a prediction on that fight right there or anything. You might get too much heat. Either way.
Yeah, that's true. I can give a prediction on the co-main event, but not the main event.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally understandable. But guys, make sure you tune in. Big super fight going down this weekend live on Showtime pay-per-view. Leo Santa Cruz versus Gervonta Tank Davis. And the co-main event, Regis Prograis versus Juan Heraldez. Guys, don't miss out. Don't get shut out with my man doing all the announcing, Ray Flores, making sure you updated on everything.
Booker, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it, guys. Have a great one, Booker and Brad.